All right, so let's move on to this bridge section. At least that's what I'm calling it, is a bridge. You know, it's could actually be considered a little interlude section. Anyway. All right, so let me put that on with the drums. That's the if you believe in the things that you don't understand. Superstitious. And it goes back into the groove, right? Let's just talk about what the chords are. B flat 7, B7, sharp 11, B flat 7, A7, sharp 11, A flat 7, B flat augmented 7th. There's your sharp 5. Right. Now, how I came up with these chords is I was listening to the horn line top note, and that told me what kind of chord it would be. I knew it was a B flat 7 chord, so with the F, it's just a plain old B flat 7. And then I knew it went up to B7 as well, but with that F, now it becomes a B7 sharp 11, back to B flat, and then the horn line went down to E flat, or D sharp. Now what is that on an A7 chord? Well, there's your root, there's your 7th, there's your 3rd, this would be what? Sharp 11. And then down to, and then this stayed at E flat, so it's A flat 7, and then these two notes you can distinctly hear, F sharp and B flat. Now, on this chord, you can also change this into a more funky sounding chord by adding in the 7th and then putting in the sharp 9th. So let's try that. Now these, when you have these chords that are hitting fast like this, you know, make sure you're not like, you know, keeping your wrist too too stiff, and make sure you're not playing too heavy. You don't want to be like, you know. See how I'm grabbing at the notes and I'm letting my wrist just. A slight motion in the wrist, right? Just keeping it nice and loose. Now, if you're playing with a group, you might say, well, wait a second, well, if I play that B flat down there, is the bass player going to get upset at me? No, they should not, because you're not doing anything in that left hand. It's not an active left hand. It's not like you're doing like, right? And if you were doing that, I would ask you, why are you doing that, okay? You're just holding it down, okay? So it's just a whole big block chord. Let's try a different tension there, see what it sounds like. That's another good chord right there for that B flat 7 with the sharp 9, sharp 5. That section, that horn line section there back in chapter 3, that happens 4 times before you go into this bridge section. So after you get that, after you get that section, that B flat augmented, go back into the groove so you can get from the groove into it and then back into the groove. So. 1, 2, 3, 4. right, now you also know sometimes I go back to the E flat on that groove instead of going down to the D flat. It's up to you. You can do either or. Now, depending on what kind of instrumentation you have, you might have some fun with this. You might be able to play like a synth patch, right? I would suggest you do not use a clavinet patch, all right? So, for obvious reasons, okay? Just doesn't sound very good. I do not, like I said, I don't like using horn patches along with real horn players. If you don't have a horn player, you know, along with you, then sure, if you want to throw on like a synthesized horn patch, that's cool. If you're going to do, depending on the patch that you're going to do, you might have to take off some notes. So you might have to just, you might have to lighten up the chord a little bit, stay away from those lower notes. A lot of times I'll use, I'll use the organ as well, and I'll just end up using that one hand at that point. So if you're just going to do a little, 2, 3, 4. Now the reason I'm only using one hand if I'm playing the organ is because if I play the left hand down here, or if I play two hands like that, it's going to sound too muddy. All right, it's going to sound too low. So you want to work within the limitations of whatever instrument you're working with. I would suggest, though, anytime you can, try and put something in the left hand, all right? Just don't be one of those players who's like, okay, I'm just going to play this tonight, just right hand only, 2 or 3 notes, right? You can always find something to put in. Use your ear, listen, is it sounding too low? Is it sounding too muddy? If so, try bringing it up an octave. If that doesn't sound good, try leaving some of the notes out, starting with the lower notes first. So leave out that, leave out that bottom note. See how that sounds, okay? You can also try a different patch, or if you have 2 keyboards, left hand can be playing this on like a Rhodes patch, on the lower keyboard. On the upper keyboard, you're like, you can do something like that. If you have 2 keyboards, you can also fill out the chords like this. So you see how I'm doing these fuller chords? So instead of just playing the 7th, the 3rd, and the 5th that's written, I'm also adding in the 9th. Sorry. So you can have a lot of fun messing around with the different patches and different combinations, right? But remember, you can almost always throw something in your left hand, even if you're just hitting like, just adding a little bit of ghosting or a little bit of rhythm in the left hand. That's cool as well, right? Just try and incorporate both hands into your playing. All right, so that's it for the bridge. Like I said, I'm not even really sure if we would call this a bridge or not. I'd have to sit with it and really analyze a little bit more, but that's this section, okay? So I will see you in the next chapter.